Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kayvana, and welcome to the Introvert's Social Hour. Welcome, welcome, introverts and Zoey's extraordinary playlist enthusiasts alike. Today is the episode for you. We are dedicating this entire episode to Zoey's extraordinary, oh my gosh, playlist. And if you don't know what that is, stay tuned. Now, please be aware there are spoiler alerts. Um, but we're not going to give you the whole breakdown of the show, so you still got to watch it. We're not going to perform it for you, so you still got to go and look for these performances. But we are going to be celebrating the best performances from the show, whether it was vocal, choreography, most fun, most emotional. And today, for that, I've brought my friend and fellow Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist lover, Sabrina. Y'all know Sabrina, so welcome, Sabrina. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello. Oh, I'm so excited.
Right?
Uh,
It's I've said this time and time again on a few episodes at some point, sometime, how Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is either my favorite show, it's one of the most underrated shows. And if you have been listening to this podcast since season one, you know my love for Zoe's Extraordinary
mhm.
Playlist. But now you know that Sabrina and I both share this love, to an
You are
intense
the reason I
scale.
have this love.
That is true, actually. Yeah, huh? Because I had started watching
Yeah,
it, and then yeah. Um,
this was
it's so good.
because this was during like pandemic when we were like not allowed to see each other anymore. And you were
Mhm.
like, "This is a good show. Watch the show." And I binged it, and I went, "Why would you do this to me?"
Yeah.
I'm obsessed now.
Yeah. Especially hard to be obsessed with the show, and then one for peeps who don't know, then it gets canceled. Um, I believe, oh my gosh, correct me if I'm wrong, because I completely just like erased them from my mind, but did NBC own it or was it Fox?
It was NBC, I think. I think that's why
Okay.
it's like on Peacock now. It's the
Oh, it
little.
is.
Mm-hmm,
Now they want to
mm-hmm.
give it some love.
Yeah, apparently.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, because I say this again too. They didn't want that show to survive
No,
because one, usually an NBC show or a Fox show after the first season, it takes like a month or so. It's available on Netflix or another streaming service. It wasn't available on any streaming services. It
it
was
was
meant
not.
to. It literally not even Hulu. It was set up
Mm-mm.
to fail. Um, and it didn't get enough whatchamacallit, like marketing. They didn't push it. They didn't purposely try to push it. Um and yeah, it just kind of they got a season two, but after season two, they let it go. Roku picked it up. Uh,
Gave us
after
a
it,
movie.
yeah, they gave us a movie, a Christmas movie, and they had to kind of wrap it up from there, which I'm grateful for because a lot of the times things get canceled and then they don't get a wrap up movie or a wrap up
Hmm.
episode. So I guess we could take what we could get, but man, we're gonna talk about what we got and then what we could have gotten in the future. So yes.
Okay.
Um, as far as like powerhouses, I do want to talk about vocal performances first. So first of all, if you don't know, for the theater peeps out there, Alex Noel is in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Their character is Mo, and
Hmm.
Mo is an icon in my eyes. I would want to be best friends with Mo.
He is like him and Zoey are the life of the show. Obviously Zoey, but like there is no show without Mo.
No, 100%.
There is no show without Mo.
Mm-mm. I 100% agree with you. There's yeah. I couldn't even imagine what that would look like without Mo in it.
Mm-mm.
Because Mo makes it. Mo connects a lot of the characters together too in a way. We start to see how that development happens along the way.
Hmm.
But I wanted to point that out because Alex has an amazing like set list in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. I do want to emphasize that, and then you could definitely add to it, Sabrina, of like
Hmm.
the fact that it's not this glee performance where everyone's gonna be like the spectacular singer.
No.
It's meant to be very much more like human,
Hmm.
and connected
Hmm.
and reasonable. But if you wanted to add on to that.
That's my favorite part of this show. Like my sister couldn't get into it because of that, because of the fact that there are some people on here who cannot sing. They're
Mhm,
holding a tune. They can hold a tune. They
mhm,
cannot sing. But I love that because we're supposed to be like Zoe is seeing everyone's innermost thoughts played out in song.
Hmm.
not everyone can sing. Not everyone is good at certain genres. So there are some actors, some characters who do really well with one piece. And then there's another piece where I'm like, oh, that was not for you. And
Yeah.
I just think it's so real and I think it's so well done. Um, Also the choreography that is paired with every single song, because every single song has something to it
Hmm.
where they all get to kind of shine. I like it. I am a big fan of the fact that it is really genuinely everyone singing out their thoughts. Whether they're good at it or not doesn't matter because it's who they are, kind of thing. Ugh, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan.
Oh, yes. And that's why I wanted to emphasize that too, because but we're talking about like best vocal performances, yes. Some performances are gonna shine like more emotionally connected or like most fun,
Mm-hmm.
even if it wasn't like the best vocally. Um, and then also too for theater peeps, we had Skylar Aston as well, who's also a main character. He plays Max. And then some people you may not know, John Clarence Stort, he plays Simon,
Mm-hmm.
fell in love with him there. And then he's just amazing.
Alice, Alice Lee, I think that's her last name.
Okay,
Um,
yes, she plays Emily.
I looked
Beautiful
this up
voice.
yesterday. Yes, that's her. She's
Yeah,
incredible.
I love her voice, yeah. And then we get some Bernadette Peters that she comes in the mix in
We
season
do.
2. So very exciting. But I did want to talk about what are some of your best vocal performances that happen throughout Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Now, yes, it's gonna be hard to put it all together because we're talking about
Mhm.
season 1 and 2, and including the Christmas movie as well. Um, but what were some big standouts?
I mean, top of my list, I put Mo. Just like, just
Mo.
Mo. Almost
Yeah.
all of Mo's songs are incredible. Like I was in my rewatch, I just like kept wanting to add. I was just like, oh my God, this song, this song, this song. Like Little
Yeah.
Light of Mine is incredible.
Mhm.
The song he sings when like oh my God, it's not way too hard or goodbyes. I forgot to write this one down. But when
Um,
Eddie is like leaving and Mo is like, I have to break up with him, that song for me is
it's
beautiful.
I know what song you're talking about. It's by
Hmm.
originally by Julia Michaels. What is that song?
Yes, I cannot
Yes.
remember.
I can't think of it, but it
Um,
was one of my faves. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
we'll talk. I'm gonna bring up Tightrope for choreography, but like
Yes.
that's my favorite performance flat out in the whole
Mm.
show is Tightrope. But like Mo, just like every single thing, and it's because Alex is just so good. So good.
Unstoppable.
Really has such a good control of their voice. Like he's just on top of it. Where I'm just like anything. The minute I hear some kind of music and I see Mo is on the screen, I am excited. That's just
Yeah.
kind of how it goes. And then
So good.
something I forgot, Leaf.
Hmm.
Leaf is always a
Icon.
really nice surprise. Every
Yeah.
time I always forget because again, we have like you said, we have so many big names and so many like
Hmm.
you just know that they're good singers that
Yeah.
anytime Leaf would start to sing, I would be like, wait a minute, this is so clean. This is so nice.
Yeah.
His
Le
little love song, so cute, so well done. When he's falling in love with his boss, that thing, oh,
yeah. He's just so good in general. Like I like that you say that it's a nice surprise because I feel like they definitely could have gave him even more songs. But at a certain point though, like I get why they didn't because
mm-hmm.
he's definitely like a B plot character. Like he's there,
Oh yeah.
but there's other people who come first. So he's not gonna have like a song every
Mm-hmm.
episode. Um I put one of them on here by him, but I don't see it for some reason. But I did want to put a few that I said specifically by Mo. And they kind of blend, like you said, for Tightrope, they kind of blend into other categories as well. In the first episode, or like the first, well, either first or second or third episode or something like that, we get Great
Mm-hmm.
Pretender by Mo. Simple but effective.
I think it's
Um,
4.
yeah, okay, episode
Mm-hmm.
4. Yeah, I didn't write down my episode numbers on here, but they're definitely on my phone. I was like, I'll just leave it. Okay, so episode 4. Um, Great Pretender, once again, simple, effective. And then we get like reprises of it. And then
Mm-hmm.
um some other ones that Mo are in that definitely like help highlight it. I love Kiss Me as an ensemble number. It's just so like vocally pretty. Um
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just like I love it. That was a song I'd play back to back on Spotify in my ears.
Oh, same, same.
It's
That's
so
the one I
good.
always go back to. That's also on my list for the choreo slash musical section
Hmm.
because you're right. The ensemble, all of the little tiny elements, the fact that everyone gets a little tiny moment, and Zoe's
Yeah.
just like taking it all in.
So nice. Yeah, it's one of my faves. Oh, I found it. It was right here written in front of my face. I couldn't figure it out. Tainted Love by Leaf.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep.
That is one of my favorite performances by him. He has a lot of them, but that was one of my favorite. Like, I think that was the first surprise I got um in that first season of like, ooh, okay. And like really
Hmm.
feeling the performance and hearing it. Um, I enjoyed Tearing Up My Heart with Simon, Max, and Mo as like a
Yes.
trio. Like them as a trio is like solid. And I like that vocally. Love on the Brain by Perry Sun.
That's on my list. That
That
was
was
the
a good
biggest
one.
shock. This little child just like
Hmm.
stealing the whole episode.
Literally. Said thanks for my song. Like,
Thanks for giving me a moment, guys.
yeah,
I'm done. You can keep going.
exactly.
Oh my God.
It was a
He's such
great
a heartbeat.
choice. Um, we get oh, see, a lot of it's Mo here. We Can Work It Out by Mo and
Mm,
Perry, Mo's boyfriend.
yes.
I love his deep voice. Like, I would love to hear him like make an album. Like, it's so solid. And then I wanted to do quick shout outs to Underneath the Tree and Most Wonderful Time of the Year, um, by Mo as well. And then the biggest one that's gonna connect to the emotional side of things, but I have to mention it. Um, Mo sings "I Look to You" in season two. Um, might I add, I just had rewatched this episode yesterday, and I saw Mo standing in church. I said, "This is the song," because Mo already sang "Little Light of Mine." And I was
Hmm.
like, and then I can't not tear up. It's just,
Oh, this whole show with me rewatching it, I was just like, I skipped like a solid chunk of the season one finale because I was like, I cannot be
yeah.
crying like this. Mo,
Hmm.
I Look to You also got me. I was like, why? It's just
It's just
the
hard not
performance is
to.
just it just pulls at you. It
Hmm.
really, really does.
It does. But since I mentioned that and we talked about that, I do want just in case I don't mention it for when we do talk about emotional, I challenge anybody to watch that performance, um, and try not to
Hmm.
cry,
Hmm.
because the way Alex Noel sings it and just vocally performs it is just on a whole nother level. It's season two, episode 10. Because as we talked about, marketing is trash. It's very hard to find these Zoe's Playlist performances
It really
solo
is.
on YouTube. Yeah. So it's available on Roku for free. Season two, episode 10. A lot of my songs
Hmm.
actually. Um, episode 10 was solid. I have a lot of songs for my list, almost all of them. But yeah. Um, so I did want to move into, we'll talk about choreography afterwards. I did want to talk about like emotional connected songs.
Hmm.
What were your let's talk about most fun first. Let's just talk
Oh,
about some fun ones.
Juice.
Oh yeah,
Juice,
solid.
top of the list.
Hmm.
Mans comes in and is just feeling, I mean, that's what the point of the whole song is, but he's just
Yes.
feeling himself. He is having the time of his life. Um, if I get the song stuck in my head, I get his version stuck in my head.
Oh yeah.
That's what plays in my brain whenever I get the song like just like on repeat. And
Mm.
it's just such a fun time because it's just he's just living it. He's just having a great time. And then in my rewatch of season one, I forgot that Max sings opera.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
That they have Skylar Aston out here pretending, doing well, but definitely
Yeah.
not singing opera. Uh,
Yeah.
and it just actually made me cackle. Like I actually
Hmm.
let out like a full on laugh when I heard it because I was like, "There's no way." I completely forgot about it. So I think that that's like a great one for me, where it just like hits you, especially because like I think the episode before had like ended on like a more emotional note, and then you just start with this one, and that's like one of the first songs you're hit with. I thought that that
Hmm.
was a very, very good time. I also in season two Am I Gonna Be Your Man or whatever the official name for that
Oh my
song is.
gosh. Yes.
Um,
What's it
with
called? Are you gonna be my
Max and
guy?
Simon. Yeah,
No, or something like that. Yeah, I got what you're
something
saying.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm bad with names. Even when I'm writing them down, what I put down was like, maybe are you gonna be my, am I gonna be your man or whatever.
It
I think the two of them devoured the song.
was good.
Like it's just one of the scenes that I like to go back to often because it's just
Hmm.
such a good time. Those are like the ones that for me are always like the ones I'm like, ooh, I want to watch these again. And then the
Hmm.
surprise.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That also brings me back to the fact that when it comes to Zoe's playlist, there's a lot of songs that I never listened to or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even heard of until then. And like you said, like I listen to Zoe's playlist versions. I don't listen to the originals. Um,
Yeah.
I agree with you with the Juice one. If I get it stuck in my head, I always go to his version because I love the way he chooses her certain tones when he chooses to go
Yes.
higher and like I don't know, the intention just feels really cool and different. Um, okay, so I'm gonna put like most fun. Um, Once again, not saying like it's vocal that needs to be vocally appealing, but it's just like really fun to also just watch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Rich Girl, when we got the mom and Bernadette Peters character, that's just really fun
Yeah.
and goofy. Yeah. And like it's just really fun to watch. Um, Same thing on the lines of now don't get me for the Bernadette Peter fans. She just has a very interesting voice. That's
I'm right there.
all.
I'm right there with you, Kimana. I'm right there with you.
I'm like, so I'm just saying, like, vocally appealing for me personally, no. But I
Mm-mm.
also loved Cheap Thrills. She sings Cheap Thrills. I love the way it's done. When you watch it like directorially as well, she comes in,
Mm-hmm.
she's singing, but it's almost like she's still having a conversation with Zoe in a
Yes.
way because she's coming in the house, she's walking around, picking up stuff like, "Oh, hey, what y'all doing?" But in a way,
Mm-hmm.
she's still singing though, but you catch the vibe of what's happening um before she stops singing. They're like, "Oh, join us for dinner." Um, those are fun. I like Next Door Ginger.
I hate that one. Oh my God.
It's just funny. That's why I
No, I
love it. It's
know.
just funny. That's why I love it.
I couldn't I couldn't
And for
get past
people,
the secondhand embarrassment. You know this.
I
But that's
know,
a good one. That's a
right?
great one.
For people who have not watched it or like no one's like, you're probably like, there's no song called Next Door Ginger. They had an original song being that was written. And once again, spoiler alerts that have been happening anyways. Zoe's next door neighbor. He comes in. He's only there. Season two is major whiplash, by the way. I have a feeling they knew that they were probably gonna get canceled because I think about all
Mm-hmm.
the things that happened in 13 episodes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was in season two. But Zoe's next door neighbor writes her a song for her birthday party, and plot twist, it's actually a love song. What's incredibly funny about it though is that her brother is in the band for a short
Yep.
period of time, been practicing with him this whole entire time, and did not know that he was writing a song about his sister. So when we watch the performance, we see the brother jamming, and then he's hearing Next Door Ginger, and he's like, wait, hold up, red hair? Oh, wait, is this about my sister? Oh, Zoe? Oh my. And he's like, you just see him freaking out in the back on his keyboard, which I think is really funny. And then obviously it's a birthday party. So then you see everyone around Zoe, including Zoe, like, oh,
Zoe
interesting.
looks so uncomfortable. Her
Yes.
sister-in-law is having a grand old
But have
time.
us. Yeah. That's why I love it. Like, and so now I can listen to it just for funsies also too. But it's visually appealing, just to get the
Mhm.
character connection. You're one of my kind. That is a fun one with Max and is her name Rosanna?
I think,
Rosanna? I think so because they sing a song called Rosanna about her. So I think it's
yeah.
Rosanna. But yeah, it's just fun. Like I think the way they performed it, it's just like really like it just vibes.
Hmm.
The way they're like moving throughout the restaurant at the time. Now is Zoe freaking out? Like, no, I don't think she's freaking out, but she's like, oh my, like
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's just really fun. They performed it, and they look like they like as actors, they have to look like they're having fun, and it just felt that way. Same thing in like regards to like Juice.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
those are the ones that really carry through when you can tell they're having a great time performing it. But with that
Mhm.
one particularly, I think they have very good chemistry dancing wise.
They
I
do.
think they move very well together, where it's that kind of thing where even when they're not paired side by side, the choreography doesn't have them next to each other. It just
Hmm.
feels very connected. They had really
Yeah.
good chemistry for that scene.
Hmm.
Overall, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. I
Hmm.
feel like once again, I feel like they knew that they were at risk of being canceled.
Oh yeah.
I feel like certain things would have been played out a little differently. Like I would have loved to see, I know this kind of sidebar, but I would have loved to seen Max kind of separate himself for a minute from Zoe and kind of figure himself out for a bit. Obviously, we knew that they were going to be endgame, but I think they became endgame a little too quick. Um, and that's why I truly believe that they had a feeling because why did we get her and Simon's relationship? No, we got her and Max's
Her
relationship,
Max
her and Max
and
breaking up,
Simon.
her and Simon, and then her and Simon breaking up, and then her feelings for Max coming back to the top, and then her and Max coming together, and then
In
Max
one
finding out he
season.
had in one season. Exactly. So that's why I was like, they had to have known, and they just probably just wanted to give their audience everything that they would have gotten given to them in the future if they had more seasons. But
Hmm.
yeah. Um, Another one, oh my gosh, 500 miles. It's fun, but
Oh,
also heartfelt. So that's why it's a good
yes.
blend. It's a good blend to go into the emotional, sad feels. Um, the passion behind his walk alone. That's the first thing I think about. When he's walking down the street, he's like, I'm gonna find you a scooter. As he's singing
When
it.
he finds the scooter, you're gonna give me that scooter. And I'm like, okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. But he saw how she was feeling and he saw that she was like on the brink of like kind of like almost breaking down
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. He was like, nah, like we're gonna get this done. Um, yeah. Zoe put them through a lot, man. But
She did.
but
I know.
Max is a real one though.
He really is. He has my heart.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, especially like the last clip where she can still kind of hear something. So she goes and she peeks out the window and he's just
He's staring at the
looking.
window.
He's just staring and he's singing the song and he just
Mm-hmm.
you know that he like genuinely like means it.
Mm-hmm. That's the
And I
best
think
part.
that's the first moment. Like, yeah, she saw him without a shirt earlier in the episode and she was like, wait a minute. But I think that's the first moment where she like was kind of like, hold on, this man is not the person that I've like thought he was this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's I don't want to say it's good visually and it's fun visually, but also emotionally connected. But
Mm-hmm.
it's also one I love to play in my ears because of what you just said of when you listen to it, that part that you're talking about, it kind of fades a bit in the music.
Mm-hmm.
And like low key, like they slow it down. They give a little almost acapella. It's not fully acapella because they're still instrumental, but like
Yeah.
almost kind of like acapella vibe of that same song that's like boom, 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 and then to slow it down and he gets some runs in there. So good. It's so
Especially
good.
because we went from like the Warriors game had just like released. So we have people in the street kind of chiming in as his background
Yeah.
singers, as his backup vocals. And then we go to just him. And then, like you said, almost no music,
Hmm.
slow down. It's just a really good progression of
Hmm.
everything to like just leave him and his feelings at the very, very end.
Yeah. Quality. Um, oh, man, it's so good. I also just want to give a shout out. I'll do another shout out again. I want to give a shout out to Mandy Moore. I'm not talking about actress Mandy
Genius.
Moore. I'm talking about choreographer Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore, if you happen to listen to this podcast, I'm available, please. Um, I'm like, please. One of my
Come
dreams,
on
I
the
really,
pod. Come on.
right, come on the pod. One of my dreams, like when Zoe's playlist came out in 2020 during COVID era, by the way, or pre-COVID era, it
Right
was still COVID era
before.
though. It was still COVID era, but like we talk about COVID
Yeah.
as like March. but like it came out before pre-COVID era, but it
January.
was COVID era. Yeah. Like it was
Hmm.
still COVID era.
It
Like it
was.
was like
Oh, it
before
was.
we yeah. But it
It
came out
was.
and I was in college. I was in my last year of college, knowing I was gonna try for a dance and a professional dance. I was gonna go for it. I was like, I'm gonna be in Zoe's playlist. Watch it. I may not be there in season one, maybe I'll be there in season three or four. And they were like, it's canceled. I was like, it's okay. I was gonna make it happen. I was like, I gotta
Oh,
be in this show. I was like, I can do this choreography.
your style of dancing lines up
It
so
lines up.
well with all of the dancing
It
in this
lines
show.
up. I
Oh,
got you. You want some like chill contemporary vibe? And we're gonna talk about that too, how she eats up the contemporary equally with the like musical theater vibe, like hip hoppy jazz funk of it all. Oh,
yes.
Mandy's just so cool. So yeah, Mandy, if you're ever like, looking for something, she just did the Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
Oh
So,
my God, was she the choreographer for
she
that?
was a choreographer. I
Mm.
found out. I didn't see the Eras tour, but I seen some
Hmm.
clips and
Yeah.
I so I'm just saying, Mandy, what's your next project? I had to plug that real quick. I love her choreography. I really do. Like there was no time where I was disappointed. I did want to talk about like sad moments though, because before we skip into the choreography, emotional moments. There's a lot of them, first off.
There's so many of them.
There's so many, and I know for people like, well, why? This seems like a really happy show. Um, Zoe is, and when we come into season one, she's in the process of losing her dad. Her dad is basically like slowly dying before her eyes. From I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's
I think it's
what it's called.
PSP is like the abbreviation for it.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, he can't talk anymore. Um, y- you know, so she has a hard time communicating with him. And what's really beautiful, the beautiful connection of Zoe's playlist is that when she suddenly gets these powers where she's able to hear people sing and tell them their feelings, she can hear her dad communicate with her through song. And that's where we get some sad moments. By the way, and then, spoiler alert,
Hmm.
season one, he does pass at the end of the season, and then we get that experience of what that looks like for her into season two. So we get some more sad moments of her just processing life, which I think is why I Look to You is also super big, um, bringing it back
Hmm.
because we see Zoe going through and processing everything that she's been through. But more importantly, just in that episode alone, because one thing about Zoe is that she has this power and now she's got to help everybody. She's
Yep.
like everybody, like she's jumping around. This person saying this song, I gotta solve it. This person saying this song, I gotta solve it. And in that episode, she realizes that her sister-in-law is going through postpartum, oh my gosh, postpartum depression. Um, and she's trying to help her, and she feels really bad because of the previous episode. Um, she didn't realize that it was a call for help,
Hmm.
and it was just a lot. And so Zoe was going through a lot emotionally in that episode. So that's why we get I Look to You as a super like connected one. It feels a little bit more hopeful as well.
Yeah.
Um, that's why it's like the last one. But before that, we get um Rosanna Into Anyone. And the reason that we get that is because that episode before people mix up their songs, which is why we get like Love on the Brain by a Kid, What Does the Fox Say by Simon. Like, so we get all that random stuff. Rosanna, she's singing a cute little song about being in love because that was
Hmm.
originally Max's song.
Yep.
And then Zoe like gets her into gear of like unglitching herself in a way. You hear the music slow down, choo 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 choo, and then she starts singing Anyone. Is it meant to be vocally appealing? No, because it's emotionally connected,
And
and
yet it still is.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
She's like hard, like I it's hard to listen to.
Hmm.
She's and not like it's bad. It's like it's hard to listen to because you hear the pain in her voice, and that one was like oof. The acting too when you watch it. Um, and then Anyone by Max as well was really good too when we got that. Yeah. Um,
Both of those are on my list for the same
yes.
reason, of like that beautiful balance between acting and singing, where it's
Mm.
just you can hear it. It is just like something you can almost touch. from both of the singers, from both Skylar and Alice. You can just hear it.
Yeah.
And that's also like it's also highlighting like a big topic that like I had only just started to really learn about at that time, like postpartum depression, all of that. It's become a bigger topic. It's become something people have focused on a lot more in the last few years. But like I had never seen that even mentioned in a show ever.
Yeah.
That was like the first time I'd ever seen it. And to see it depicted in such a like raw way really, really packed that punch that, like you said, it's hard. Even to just
Mhm.
listen to it, sometimes it's just hard because you can just like picture her, picture like anyone in that position. And it just really, really does everything it needs to do.
It does. I think they do Alice, no, Emily's story well. Um,
They do.
I really do think so. Um, in addition to that, my favorite performance by Emily, um, is in the next episode, and you
Yeah.
already know Gasoline. Oh, I
Gasoline.
I listened to that one. I am so sorry. I do not listen to Halsey's version. I listened to that one. Once again, that emotional tie and connection. And I love the way they produced the song. Um, she's in the bathroom. I rewatched it, and I love when you find something new and something you didn't pay attention to before. I think it just kind of went over my head, even though I heard it. She's breast pumping in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
The breast pumps are going to the sound of the beat of the music. Eventually, the breast pumps fade out and the music blends in. So that's telling me connection right there of how her postpartum depression, the thing she's going through with her child, and then going into the song of her emotions and her feelings. The whole entire thing eats the choreography into the bathroom stall. I love one thing. That's why I said like Mandy Moore really eats. One thing people don't get to play around with as much is like on-site performance
Yeah.
and like being able to figure out what that looks like in a new setting is so cool. And then once the song is over, the breast pump comes back in. Boom, boom. What also makes it really cool director wise is because once again, that's that same episode that Zoe's going through it. So that overpan of
Yes.
Zoe in one stall, Emily in the other, and they're both going through it. Like Zoe's kind of freaking out of like, what do I do? How do I help her?
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool to see that how it's not just Alice going through it, it's actually Zoe's also going through it, trying to figure out how to help people, but still processing
Yep.
and grieving. Yeah.
No, I think so. Also, like how she starts viewing her through the little crack first. So just like
Hmm.
all of the choices of the point of view, the perspective that we get looking in on Emily, because again, the whole thing is we're always looking in on the characters. That's like
Hmm.
the most literal I think they've ever gotten with it. The more like with the choices of how they shot frame by frame the whole thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right?
no, it's so good. It was on my list too because it's just so well done across the board.
Mm-mm. I just sit
Yeah.
here and think like, that's why I'm like, NBC, you really dropped the best show you had. That just bananas. I can't really. Um.
It was so
Mm-mm.
good. If we are talking about sad songs, though, like the
Hmm.
emotional ones, I do have to bring up the one like Mitch song that destroys me.
Mitch
And
is
it's
Zoe's dad,
in,
by the way.
oh, yes, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I realized that.
Zoe's dad, like in that last one when they're all getting ready to say goodbye. Because that's the thing, too. It's like you were talking about, like the whole process, how she's saying goodbye to her dad. She's in the process of losing her dad because it's just a so slow, like gradual progression of him just disappearing within himself. And that she gets to hear like her brother and her dad say goodbye to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That song gets me because she's just kind of looking in. She's not ready to say goodbye yet. And she hears them do the Goodnight, My Angel, the little lullaby. And
Hmm.
the song also says, like, you'll sing this to your kids. And he never gets to meet his
Yeah,
grandson either because
yeah.
he passes away a handful of weeks before the baby's born because
Hmm.
season 2 starts 6 weeks later
Yeah.
and baby's baby's here.
Present. Yeah.
So that is just that's the one where I went through it because it's beautiful and it's very well done. Also not very like not great singing. It doesn't need to be though, because it's just the emotions that are poured into it. But it's just so good. And it makes me cry every time I see it.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. Oh yeah, Good Night, My Angel. For Mitch, I also had oh my gosh, where'd it go? No, I was just looking at it. Oh, I lived. I lived.
Oh,
And this is
yeah.
in season two
That's
because
in season two.
interestingly enough, in opposition, he has passed already. But
Mm-hmm.
the I lived is always gonna get me. One Republic really ate with that song. It's hard to listen to. When Glee performed it, I cried then. Anybody can perform it, and it's sad just because I don't know how to explain that song. And obviously, the I Live version for Zoe's playlist, they slow it down. Um, but the way it provides like an amount of hope while also a level of existing sadness, like
Yeah.
it's hard to explain in a way. Like it's like you're sad, but you're reflecting. You're like, actually, though, like it
It's
wasn't
that
too
perfect
bad.
bittersweetness just right
Yeah,
there. Where
it's
sometimes,
perfect.
like, we talked about it, like with movies, like Last Letter from Your Lover, with books like Addie LaRue, like those are just so
Hmm.
bittersweet that you just
Yeah.
cry because it's more, that's life. It's
Hmm.
way more realistic than just the sad, sad or the like happy, happy. It's like, it's this
Hmm.
nice little blend of, even if this didn't happen, so long as I can say that I lived my life, I'm good. I'm good to go. I can say
Yeah.
it. And I feel like that's I feel like if they had continued the show, I don't think we would have seen more of him. That felt like the goodbye from her dad.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
season two's all about her grief, like her actual grief of having
Processing, yeah.
him disappear and not be there anymore. So I feel like that's the part where she like lets him go,
Hmm.
which is also what makes it so, like resonate so much more is that he lived and now it's her turn kind of thing. She
Hmm.
got to see him one last time and then this is it.
Yeah, that's so true. Did we get, I think the closest we got, because in the Christmas movie we get flashbacks. But yeah, I don't think she
Mm-hmm.
like sees him in, no, he does go into her dreams though, I think.
Mm,
Or am I wrong? I don't
I
know.
I
I
didn't
feel like
rewatch the
she still
Christmas
dreamed.
one.
I feel like she still dreamed, but she dreams a lot. So I could be mixing them up.
Yeah,
She dreams a lot. But
she might have.
I think she might have though, because I really think in Zoe's playlist, that's a word where he couldn't he's still connected with her. Because she
Hmm.
even dreams when he's alive, like with him in it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Um, some other ones before we move on out of like emotional and like sadness. But to connect with that, Zoe sings to her father, How Do I Live Without You?
Oh God.
Emotionally, gut-wrenching.
Oh.
Jane Levy, you did great job. Jane Levy is not like a singer, but she did that really well, like hearing the emotion in the song. She's literally singing to him on the couch. Basically, it feels like a beg of like, please, like get better, even though it's not gonna happen. Like how like just asking for answers that he cannot give. Um, and that one's a good one. It's just really sad because she's like on the couch. The couch
I
eventually, correct me if I'm wrong, it's eventually empty, like or something.
so
Uh,
okay, so in American Pie, they do a shot where the whole family is there and the spot that he's been sitting on the whole time is empty.
It's empty. I
And she
remember. Okay.
looks at it. Um, when they do their little goodbye dance together with True Colors in the background, him
Mhm.
not singing it, just a song in the background. Eventually he fades and the living room is empty. But in that one, I
Mhm.
think she just kind of collapses on him.
Okay. Okay. So
I
I think I was blending.
did, however, skip it. I only managed to get like through 10 seconds the last time I watched it because I could like feel like you just mentioned it right now. And I'm like, who I felt like the ugly sobs coming on from that one song when I tried to
Hmm.
rewatch it the other day. I was like, I cannot because
Hmm.
I think it hits home to a lot. You know me, I'm a crybaby, and that's like one of my biggest things. So I was very much like, I'm not gonna watch this. I cannot. I
Yep.
will not be okay for the next like 2 hours if I watch this. So I went doo
Mhm.
doo doo
That's how you know
because
how
it's
emotionally impactful it was too, though.
oh yeah, no,
Mm.
no. It's you have to be in like a the correct state of mind to watch that.
Hmm.
It's so
Uh,
good though.
it was, yeah. And the dark setting and stuff. Like, I
Hmm.
love like a lighting situation, so it was good. And then Sabrina slightly mentioned it, but American Pie was the funeral or like after the funeral.
Hmm.
And that one gets you because of the song, but more specifically the direction, how it's performed. That one's like a one shot, and they're just following everyone around the house.
Hmm.
And they're singing their sections of the song. Obviously they're mourning Mitch, Zoe's dad. Um, and it just kind of like it's a perfect ending because you're like, what happens next? That's how they feel, but you for sure feel that as an audience member, and it's a perfect way to close out the season. Yeah.
Hmm. It is. And also just like I feel like that one, all of the characters' personalities play out so well. And you have all of the overarching like emotions that you can feel and like awake and things like that. Because like at the beginning, it's the four of them, it's the family that is left. I also love how like Emily is part of the family. Like Emily is the family. There is no like slight separation because she married in, nothing. That was her dad as well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
um they enter and you can just feel how sad they are, and then they get to meet people. Each person does something. So Simon always, I feel like his tone is always gentler, always calmer, because he is very much the person who understands what she is going through.
Yeah.
Max is just kind of there for a bit. Max doesn't sing until like the end, kind of just lets her like go about, but is always giving her things here and there. um Mo is bringing the like a little bit of joy back in with the champagne, the toasting to his life kind of thing. You see
Yeah.
Maggie do a little smile. It's the only time she smiles in the whole thing. I always forget Gilmore Girl. What's is it
Oh,
Joan?
Laura. Yeah, her name is Joan in the show. I think her real
Okay.
name is Lauren or something.
Yeah, yes. She comes in and again is still very much in the mentor role. So I like how they keep that going. And then this one is just like 500 miles. It slows down and it stops.
Mm.
And then she continues it full a cappella, like just her singing, absolutely not an ounce of music, not a little tiny note, nothing. It's just her
Yeah.
singing to end it up, to end it all.
Mm-mm. It's mm-mm.
Hmm.
That show. I also did want to do a shout out. I just didn't double check research. Um, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist did get some nods. It got 6 Emmy nominations. And
Ooh.
once again, a shout out to, I remember they were nominated, even though I was like, why didn't they? I was like, no, they should have gotten, when we're talking about this, I was like, no, there should have been more acting nominations for sure.
Hmm.
They got nominations for the outskirts of things, like their programming. The only person who got an actress nomination was Bernadette for Guest Actress. Um, but
Interesting.
I know, right? Yeah. But no, Mandy Moore, she did win for outstanding choreography in 2020. Specifically for, here's the interesting part, because she's outdid herself even after this. Specifically for All I Do Is Win, I've Got the Music in Me and Crazy. Isn't that so interesting?
All I do is win.
Hmm. Right? I was like, she far outdid herself in the second season, but the second season doesn't really she was nominated, but she didn't win in
I guess
2021.
maybe because they're the larger pieces and people think that it's harder to it is for sure harder to get a group of people, but like
But even then, Help is better. Like, I'm so sorry, and we're
uh
gonna talk about that right now.
no, it
Um,
is.
Help is a better ensemble choreography piece. She's got almost like 50 plus dancers dancing in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
of San Francisco, running down hills, jumping, doing flips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to All I Do Is Win, I mean, sure. I mean, it's not
That's the
bad,
one
but
that
it's
I'm
a better
no, that's the one
option.
I'm in shock about. I
Yeah.
think that's one of my least favorite songs in the whole thing.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun,
Dun, dun, dun,
dun.
dun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's why I forget that Leaf can sing is because that's the first song
Hmm.
that I got of him, and I was like, I don't know if I'm vibing with this.
Hmm.
How interesting.
And then
He
he
has
shows
such
you that
better
he's got
moments.
vocals. Hmm.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, no, but that's why I was like, all I do is win crazy, and I've got the music in me. I could see I got the music in me because it's a similar vibe of help,
Mhm.
to be honest. So I can understand that. Crazy. I can't
They were
even
pulling
think,
in the couches and the set pieces, so that might have
yeah,
been it.
the intricacy of it all. I can understand.
Hmm.
But yeah, shout out to Mandy Moore because that was the Emmy she did win. Um, okay, moving on into choreography now. Split that special shout out. Um, for big ensemble pieces, what were some of your fave ensemble pieces first? Just like actual ensemble pieces, it needs to be more than, four people, three, four people.
Does tightrope count?
Yes.
Tightrope.
Hmm.
Absolutely. It comes at the end of one of my favorite episodes, because I think that episode has a lot of great musical moments in it.
Yes.
And it's just I remember just kind of like pausing the episode and going back to rewatch it like three or four times. Um,
Mhm.
because of just everything coming together. The dancing is one of my favorite just sequences of dancing. I loved how all of them moved with each other, how it's a smaller space. That restaurant is not like a huge set piece.
Yeah.
And so that they were doing all of that in a limited amount of space. They get some good group numbers in that restaurant. It
Yeah.
becomes a great scene because like that's where we get like I'm not
Let's
a
get
fan of Shake It
loud.
Off, but like I like the
Me
choreo
too.
for that. It's the Let's
Mhm.
Get Loud. Isn't it also where Mo and Mo's boyfriend sing the song,
Sing.
the one that you
Yeah. Uh-huh. We
yeah,
get
they
the
do like
levels too, because
mm-hmm.
Mo's up top and then Perry's at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, so but tightrope just always stands out because of just like all of the movements. I love it when you get all of these people just like interconnecting with each other. That's one of my favorite things of Mandy Moore's choreography for this is that it's
Mhm.
not a lot of unison. It's not a lot of them doing the same thing at the same time. And when it is, it's done so well. It's executed perfectly, but it's a
Mhm.
lot of interconnecting parts, a lot of complementary movements where it feels like they're in conversation with each other, not just dancing with each other, but in conversation with
Yeah.
each other. And I
Hmm.
think she delivered the like all of the beats in Tightrope are just done so well. Oh, it's just so good.
Hmm.
So
It's
good.
pure joy. Like I feel
It
that, like
is.
pure joy. And she did it so well with the choreography. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I want to learn this. I want to learn this choreography. Um, no, that it's a solid one. That's what one thing Mandy Moore does really well is like putting ensemble pieces together. Like I get amazed at where her brain starts working
Yeah.
in spaces like that because she goes from outside and have to figure out what they're doing outside to going inside and okay, there's tables, there's chairs, how do they use those? Because you have one similar space and a few different songs like you said. So you get Tightrope, which is also my favorite. And then we get Let's Get Loud, which is another one of my favorites. It's just really fun and
It
vibey.
is.
I love we get to see Mo and Max's partnership at work. Um, and they're singing together is also really cool.
It,
So,
it really is.
yeah.
Um, you speaking of like how she uses spaces too, like Melt with You is on the list for me too for ensemble pieces.
Yeah. Yes.
Because first of all, it's one of my favorite Zoey songs. She gets a
Mhm.
good amount of singing and a good amount of singing in the show. But
Mhm.
this one, I'm a huge fan of the song.
Mhm.
She does it so sweetly, but like the use of the bench, the use of all the
Mhm.
things around her, everybody chiming in and dancing with her, her going like kind of she like mini crowd surfs, I think, if I remember correctly, on them,
Mhm.
and then again the synchronicity of all the moves and like they're not always at the same time, but it just flows so well together. That's one of like the smaller ensemble pieces because it's not as many as like some of the bigger group numbers. It's not as many as like Tightrope
Mhm.
or I Got the Music in Me or anything like that. But it's just done so well and it feels very heartfelt. It feels very heartwarming with the
Mhm.
dancing that kind of is paired with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing too. She just blends, she understands the song, whatever it is, she understands the moment for the song. I think she's really good at connecting emotionally with her choreo. Um, fun vibe with that with the Melt with You. Was I rewatched that yesterday. Zoe sits on the bench with Max. She kicks his leg. So with her, one of her legs, she kicks his leg up to so his leg can cross, and her leg then crosses. I just thought that was really funny and fun. Like, who
That's
thinks
my
of that?
favorite move. That's my
See,
favorite move in the whole thing.
there we go. I was like, well, I was like, who just thinks of that? Like, oh, kick the leg up. Oh, put the leg up. Okay.
Hmm.
And y'all just have to watch it. So go search it up. That one's the last episode of the second season.
It's
If you
one
don't
of the
understand.
easiest. It's one of the easiest to find too, I think.
Oh, for sure. I actually, yes, I agree. Actually, you might find that on YouTube because I think that was actually one that they did share.
Hmm.
Now that you're saying that, because it was like the season finale, they knew it was season finale,
That was the
or
last
series
thing.
finale. Yeah, series
Yeah.
finale. Yeah.
Hmm.
Some other fun ones. Before I move into like a more contemporary style of my faves, some other fun ones that I liked. Don't Leave Me This Way as an ensemble piece.
Yes.
Who thought, okay, we're going to start inside Spark Point, and then we're going to end up outside on the balcony of Spark Point. We're going to chase after Zoe while still dancing. Then we're going to go inside again. That's why I say I love on-site pieces, and Spark Point
Hmm.
is also a really fun place that they've been able to choreograph and direct in. I actually, there's one point I was like, you know what, maybe I would vibe at a Google. Like, this would be fun. Work at a Spark Point.
Yes, I agree. This
Mhm.
is how they get us.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So if I ever end up in corporate world, blame Zoe's playlist, but Mandy Moore is still available once again. So, um, but yeah, Don't Leave It This Way is just really fun. Vocally, yes, as well. Like once again, I think John Clarence Stewart does so freaking well at just putting pure joy into his performances. He's really good at doing sad too, but I love when his performances are just out of the park. Why? Like, what does the fox say? Juice. Yeah, like Don't Leave Me This Way. Like all of these like really cool, fun, exciting kind of like pieces. Yeah.
I wanted to highlight him. I want to give him like a mini shout out because watching everything, he's just so good at movement.
Yes.
Just overall, like even if it's just small little steps, it's more movement than choreography. Like it doesn't matter the way that he moves, the way that he just has control over his body. I'm always just more focused on watching him than listening to him
Yeah.
because it's so captivating.
I 100% agree. I think that's a good word. Yeah, it's captivating. Yeah, you don't want to like, and I'm gonna tell you why. So let's blend in some. Let's give a shout out to him for some other pieces then, because these are also on my list.
Are we
I'm
going to
gonna
talk
start
about
with
our favorite moment?
100%, but I'm gonna go to a different one first.
Okay.
100% though. Um, Happier in season one
Oh,
when he dances with his at that time. Well, at that time they had broken up. So one, vocally, I played that song back to back in my little Ford Fiesta. That song was just solid. I played
that
it all the
was.
time, but visually, the choreography, Mandy Moore, the contemporary of it all, the partner work, how she uses, once again, how she uses these spaces. She's using the wall, she's using the elevator, she's using chairs. They're dancing with the chairs.
Hmm.
Um, they do like a fall and catch moment. It's just so cool.
It really is.
That's the one I play back, and that one is available on YouTube.
Hmm.
You can go and watch that one. It's Happier from season one, Zoe's playlist. It's the song it got really popular, but like what, 2019 or something like that.
I think so.
But they slow it down. It's slowed down. Um, and yeah, everybody understood that assignment. Should I Stay or Should I Go? The choreography of that is really good. I love a good
It's
like
so good.
intentional. It's so intentional. He goes to the door. He doesn't go to the door. He's there in front of her face. She comes. She's there. Like it's just the push and pull
Yep.
of that is really fun because he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't have been there
He
in the
should
first
not.
place.
He should
He
not
shouldn't
be
have
there.
been there. There shouldn't have been a question of should I stay or should I go because he shouldn't have came. But it's the push and pull of it all, and that's what's really fun in the choreography. Once again, the like fun performer. Now, the
Hmm.
one that we were both waiting for when it comes to his performance quality, and how he could eat up a piece of choreography in his movement. Into You, John Clarence Stewart version. Sorry, Ariana. He ate.
No,
He ate.
sorry.
Oh, see, no,
It's
sorry,
not her
sorry.
song anymore.
Let's read it. Said no, sorry. Sorry.
You
It's not
watch
your
this
song.
and it's not her song anymore. It's not.
It's gone. Um, yeah. Sabrina, tell us why you love that one so much.
It's just, how do I even put it into words? Because I feel like when we talk about it, we're usually just like, it's so, yes, and all of that, like never finishing
Hmm.
sentences.
Yeah.
But Zoe has had like a time and a half with her birthday. And it's been just a lot thrown at her with like the songs, watching Kiss Me, seeing all these people like in love with each other, like new love, old love, established things, all of that. And she's just kind of needs a moment to herself. And he comes in and he gives her that. And it's just slow, and it is very like sensual in a way because of the way he's just moving around her. And this is
Hmm.
where you see my favorite thing that I've always loved whenever it's like in a book or in a movie, when you have a couple who just like breathes with each other. That's the way I like to
Yes.
describe it. It's not even like they're moving with each other. It's like your body goes here, so mine has to follow.
Hmm.
Like you are doing this, so then mine has to do this. That's what this feels like, is that they are just completely in sync with each other.
Hmm.
And she's just like taken in by all of it. And it's just, I can just hear him like the I'm so into you, I can barely breathe.
Hmm.
It's just, like that's all I can
Hmm.
say is it's just done
Hmm.
so well. And it's not complicated. It is not
Hmm.
like an intricate piece.
No.
It is beautiful because of its simplicity.
Yeah,
It is
I
probably
agree.
one of the most simple numbers, but because of that, it's breathtaking because
Hmm.
it's just the two of them and it's highlighting them, and it just allows for the story to take place. Because you also know me, I was not a Simon girl. I was
I
very much
know.
like, I love him as a character, I love the actor. There are definitely
Hmm.
moments where I went, girl, you are strong. You are a strong person.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the moment where I was like, I would be a puddle. I would be a puddle on the floor. I would be like,
Hmm.
what do you mean you are dancing this way around me? And it's
Hmm.
just, and it's also, like I said, it's just so genuine. It's
Hmm.
just, oh, like if I could show people just one piece, I would show people that over tightrope, even though tightrope is my
Fair.
favorite number. I would, that's my favorite like
Yeah.
moment in the whole show.
I agree. And I'm going to add to that because, like you said, simplicity, the whole time they're kind of moving around each other, they never touch. So it's that like that's that hesitant, and it's purposely choreographed that way of maybe their hands are like in front of each other, but they never actually touch each other. It's that hovering space of do we go this far? Do we take that next step into our relationship, or away from our friendship and into something more? Which has been this push and pull the entire time in season one and also into season two. Um, and I just love it. I always go back to like when you talk about like I Puddle when he says, "Oh baby, look what you started." The way he acts it out, and he's like got his finger like this, and it's just so good. I was like, "Oh, stop." It's like I said, simple though. They're not touching. They're not like all up in
Mm-hmm.
each other's space. And when I say like, "Oh, is it a kiss or don't kiss?" It's not like that. It's very much like enjoying each other's space. Um, in presence. I think enjoying each other's presence is the better way I would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even when I don't know, it's just so good. Like you said, simple but effective. And
Yeah,
yeah, you get that one like lit cupcake and then like everything else is just kind of calm and collected. It's very I would say it's kind of soothing. Like when I listen to it,
it
it's just like
is.
very peaceful. Yeah. But yeah, it's so good. And once again, the production of it all. I love a slowed down
It's a slow
number.
down
Like
number.
it's very pop into you, it's very pop, and then you get something completely different, which is why it's like, sorry, I understand. Like Ariana, this is a whole different version of your song, so
It
it's
is.
kind of gone.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, those are some of my favorite numbers. Hello, I want to give a special shout out to Hello Dolly and Numb, ensemble piece Hello Dolly Numb by Max. Um, once again, before the Maximo becomes Maximo, we get to
Hmm.
see how they're even playing around with the space with chairs and
Hmm.
tables before then. So I love a good dancing with props moment.
Yep.
Uh
That one was
oh
on
yes.
my list too, was Numb.
Lucy.
And then also Simplicity, but with the other couple, Max
Mhm.
and Zoe, when they're trying to like have their first time together and
Oh
he's
my
singing
gosh.
and he's so
Hmm.
embarrassed because he can't stop singing, but then
Hmm.
Zoe starts to sing with him. And
Hmm.
with him, there's music because obviously she's hearing it inside his head, but with her, it's not because she's taking the moment to sing out loud for him.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
like screamed when I saw it for the first time, and that has nothing else. It's just like that.
Yeah.
But I think the show, because it's so big and fun and everything, its simple, tiny moments shine so well.
Hmm. And that's why it should still be on multiple seasons because sometimes you
Hmm.
don't need a whole bunch to make it like matter. Um, I want to do a quick like shout out. We talked about shout outs to Mo. We talked about shout outs to Simon, specifically, and like Max as well. I wanted to give it Mo moment. I call them Mo moments. I was like, wait, that's actually
Hmm.
genius, Kayvana. A Mo moment, from season 1, episode 10. Simon and Zoe, once again, we see that push and pull. They get mad at each other. They start arguing. Mo lives across the hall from Zoe. Uh, shut up, come inside my apartment. I'm turning the music on, dance. And they're like, what are you talking about? Dance. And they just dance
Yep.
it out. And through their grief and their anger at each other. I just thought that was a really cool moment. Any special character moment you want to pop out before I give you rapid fire?
At the end, the just like evolution of Mo and Zoe's friendship at the very
Yes.
end of where Mo goes, "Go best friend, go best friend." That is
Yeah.
my favorite little thing. It made me
Mhm.
so happy because we didn't touch on it too much, but like Zoe's character evolution, the connections she makes with everybody. Jane, shout out to Jane because she
Yes.
is such an incredible actress. But
Mhm.
just watching their relationship blossom over the 2 seasons and then the movie, that's
Mhm.
one of my favorite moments. Is the go best friend, go best friend. It's like
Yeah.
silly, but it's so rewarding after like that first episode where Zoe is just like, you are annoying to me, and Mo is
Hmm.
like, you got to get over yourself, kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And then like Zoe, that Mel became Zoe's like support system too.
Oh yeah,
So that's so cool. All right. The time is now for rapid fire questions.
you didn't
They must
tell me
actually be
about
rapid
this.
fire. You got to expect rapid fire at this point.
I
It's
know.
season
I
2.
don't.
I'm
I
season 2
don't.
rapid firing now.
Okay.
Um, you must answer in short term. And
Okay.
this is also a challenge for myself. I realize sometimes I like explain it and it's like, no, no explanation, just
No
answer.
explanation. Okay.
Yes. Okay. What would your heart song be for today if you had to choose? I know it's a hard question. Just
I
right
don't
now in
know
this moment, your
song
vibes.
titles.
Um,
Um, it would definitely be a little poppy piece.
okay.
Either a poppy piece or like a late 70s, but one that has like a very like mellow, like chill vibe. I woke up in a very good
Okay.
mood today. So can't give
Vibes.
you title,
It's fine.
but I can give
That's
you
good though.
vibes.
I would say similar. I don't know if it'd be 100% this, but like on the lines of like Pocket Full of Sunshine, like 2000s
Hmm.
alternative, like it's a really good day, dun 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 dun, like very chill. I think it's like
Hmm.
Sunday morning. It's very chill. I have nothing to, have issues about right now. So like 2000s alternative, just like vibes. That's where I'm at.
You said Sunday morning. I say Sunday morning. It is
Oh,
literally
by
raining
Maroon 5.
outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Nope. That one. That one.
That
Thank you.
there we go. You're welcome. Um, I know the answer, but Team Max or Team Simon, and why in one word?
Max. I want like a few words.
You can do 3 if you need to.
500 miles.
Okay.
Max 500
500
miles.
miles. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I've always been Team Simon. I'm technically team both. Yeah, I know.
Three
But that
words.
well, I just said teams. I just said team. I just said
Okay.
team. I didn't give a why. I'm technically team both, but in reality, at the end, after rewatching after season two, I'm for me personally, that's why I'm Team Simon. But Zoe, quite frankly, I just think she needs to be by herself for a while. But that's my
For sure.
personal opinion.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, that's where I'm at. But I'm Team Simon, me personally. Um, what's a song that came out of Zoe? What's a song that came out after Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist was canceled that you would have loved to see performed?
You're hitting me with like thought piece questions. These are not rapid fire questions.
You just have to give
Um,
one answer. No, no, why? I just need an answer.
oh, um, going back to Ariana, because I think they do like such a great job. I think they could have had fun with Just Like Magic. That was one of my favorites from that album that came out. I don't know if
Yes.
that came out after it was canceled or around the time where we were waiting to see, but that one. I think it would have been fun
Um,
to see them do something with that. Mo sing that song.
yeah, that would have been good. It came out. They were still on, but I think they just didn't
Mm,
choose to do that. Um, Along the same line, I feel like Pove would have been great. I wonder why they didn't touch the album a lot, but Pove would have been a good one as well. Positions, Mo singing positions as well. Sorry, I'm getting ahead, but yeah, that'd have been good.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Mo would have sung that to Perry and would have ate. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Um, what would you want to who would you want to perform that? So you're saying Mo for those ones that you gave?
Just Like Magic, I think would have
Yeah.
been
Oh,
perfect for Mo. I
okay.
think so. Because Mo is
That's
the only character that I can see really, really like fitting that.
yeah,
But they could bring in a secondary character, and I would also
for
be.
sure.
I think
Who's Simon?
they would just
Simon.
do.
That would be
Yes,
good. Yes.
yes, that fits his vibe
Yes,
completely. Yes,
100%. I just had a moment. I was like, wait, why is
yes,
that not mentioned?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Um, Special guest you would have loved to see perform on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist that we didn't get.
I don't know. I was very happy with just being surprised. So like
Sure, yeah.
I was in it for just like the full surprise. You just give me the people like
Mhm.
Bernadette. Bernadette, I was like, how'd they
That
get
was a
her?
huge surprise. Yeah, that was a huge surprise.
So I don't know. That
Um,
one's a genuine. I have no idea.
it's fair. I would have loved to see, I don't know if it messes it up or not, because it does kind of get cliche, but like the random cameos along the lines of like actual like singing artists would have been kind of fun.
Mm.
But I don't know if it gets a little corny, too cheesy, and it feels a little bit
Hmm.
2000s, 2010. But yeah, I would have said that. Maybe a little too Glee, if anything. That might have been the case. Maybe a little too Glee, because
Yeah,
Glee did
I
that a
think
lot.
if they had kept it Broadway people, I think that would have been
Mm-hmm.
fun because Broadway
Mm-hmm.
is not as well known.
Yeah. Throw
I put
in
that in
like
like quotation marks.
well, they did, yeah, because we didn't talk about this, but Rachel from Hamilton, she was in it.
Oh
The
yeah,
boy is
Renee.
mine. Yeah, Renee. I said
Renee is
Rachel.
in
My
it.
gosh. Yeah.
Hmm.
Cynthia Erivo, I feel like would have ate up a spark point
Yes.
moment if she would have came in or something. But yes, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, so that's our recap on the highlights of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Once again, we talked about performances and some parts of the show. If you're interested in the show, I highly, highly suggest you watch it and get more information about it. Enjoy the performances. If you end up watching it, let us know what your best performances were, your favorite performances were. If you're already a fan, let us know now. Um, thank you so much, Sabrina, for joining the episode. I we could talk about Zoe's playlist forever, of course.
Hmm.
I feel like it doesn't, there's no cap for sure.
No.
Um, thank y'all for listening to the Introvert Social Hour. Share, like, and follow this podcast. Send it to a friend, a family member, a loved one. Follow me at Kayvana on Instagram to get podcast updates and at the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok. Get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing week. I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Thanks for joining. Bye.